time for Jazz and Poetry at the Writers' Conference. Who's ready? My name is Dr. Andy. I'll be your host this evening. Thanks so much to all of the, let me check my notes, 58 people who have signed up for the open mic list. Tonight we will hear from poets, from faculty of the poetry track here at the Writers' Conference. We will hear from prose writers. We will hear from at least one singer named Jamie, who I was talking to outside, and she said, I'm a born performer, Dr. Andy. I can do whatever you need me to. So I said, great, you'll be singing tonight, Jamie. Because everyone needs a song at an open mic. The more open your hearts, your minds, and your mouths, the better if this is going to succeed, but there are some rules. The rules for our poetry faculty, we've got a number of them here, I'm very happy to say, is 5 minutes or 3 items, whichever is shorter. For the rest of us, including myself, I'll be reading last, probably in the AM hours. And I will be keeping it at 3 minutes or 2 items, whichever is shorter. So keep that in mind. 3 minutes or 2 items. For instance, not over 3 minutes, under 3 minutes. Everyone here will be grateful to you. Any questions so far? What about the jazz? Excellent questions.
Thank you.
We have Jay Schwartz here on the table. If you're thinking minor keys, major keys, indeterminate, if you're thinking jazzy, bluesy, fast-moving, slow-moving, if you've got a tone in mind, if you're thinking something along the lines of what used to amuse us when we watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, all of this is on the table when you approach Jay Schwartz and say, I want some music with this piece. Do take advantage of the jazz at Jazz and Poetry Night. All of us will be glad if you did. All right, announcements will be made about the availability of drinks, last call and that sort of thing later on. But for right now, should we get started with the program? Are you all excited? I'll remind you that one of our favorite volunteers is going to be right over here, and she will remind you when you have 1 minute left. That's Lara. And then also, do you have a 30 seconds? Do you have a stop? All right, stop. So Lara means it when she says stop. Don't make her stand up, because she will. All right, thanks. We're going to start with some poetry faculty, and then we will also hear later on from our Student Poetry Scholarship winner, Vaani, who I'm very excited to hear from tonight. But first, ladies and gentlemen, the driving force behind the poetry track at the San Francisco Writers' Conference. She did all the work to amuse and enlighten us in that track and recruited so many excellent poets. Let's bring up our first reader of the evening. It's Sheryl Bizé-Boutte. Sheryl,
We want to hear you. We want to hear you.
I'm going to read a couple of poems. One is for my mother, who loved Valentine's Day.
Aww.
And the other is for all of you.
Oh, no.
The first one is called Singing into the Brush. Can I get be my baby? girl, I pulled my bangs into a rock and roll swirl, dropped the needle, put the record player on twirl, and then I sang into the brush. This sterling silver mic of mine on mommy's dresser most of the time made the sounds of the world turn to hush whenever I sang into the brush. Wearing mommy's gold high heels and mohair suit, I was the lead singer in the latest girl group. Aretha, Tammy, Ronnie, and me sang together so melodically. Stars of the world's greatest symphony when I sang into the brush. Nothing, no one could dim my light, even when the ballads made my eyes shut tight. Everything was uptight and out of sight when I sang into the brush. I sang a concert one night. The next day she left. After that, singing became the reason for death. And the only way to quell those fears was to put the brush away for years. Then one day, the sunshine came. A song was floundering without a name. It shouted from heaven's highest rung, I've been waiting for you. It is time for me to be sung. I really don't want to make a big fuss, but you know you can't do it without that brush. The brush in my hand shows its gentle wear, a few of her strands still embedded there. Soft and fine, a trait we shared, now matching the silver of my own hair. It takes a moment to gather my nerve as I take the stage and recapture the words. I hit all the right notes, I am true to the key. Ella to Beyonce have nothing on me. With joy renewed, my voice comes smooth and lush as I sing once again into the brush. I think this one we can do without the music because I want you to really hear what I want to say to all of you. It's called That's What Poets Are Made Of. We write of roses, sparkly things and acts of valor, grit and grime, and death and squalor, of loving and living, questioning the why, about the mysteries of oceans and the infinite sky, the many ways of arriving and leaving, breathing in flesh and spirits dear, the whisperings and shouts of the muse in our ear. We digest and condense, we write it down. We read it out loud for the world to see and hear. This is what poets are made of. As doors fly open with an entrance so grand, we know it's time to dance. This partner must be embraced, so we take the stance. Then glide with the words into a lyrical frame, and a riff and a rhyme, a rhythmic placement, or a scattered poet time. That's what poets are made of. From Rumi to Wheatley, to E.E. to Nikki, Ferengeti to Neruda, to Angelou and you. We all are the tellers of the truth. In every way, in every alphabet, we drink from every cup. There is no hesitation when dreams are interrupted by poetic compulsion, knocking on your heart and saying in that way, you know that way, hey sleeping poet, you up? Because that's what poets are made of. And now, dear poets, it's time to be on time to tell them all what time it is. No matter where we are on this ride, together we will save the world, rhyme after rhyme. We are poets gathered here, ready to take the mic, to send the messages that fuel the fight, because you are all what poets are made of. And oh, by the way, happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you, Sheryl. Great job. And thanks for all the work you've been doing on behalf of poetry for this conference. We so much appreciate it. Yeah. in running the poetry track, Sheryl took over for our next poet. Diane Frank's birthday is Monday, and it's also the day that her new book is released. How about that? Give it up for Diane Frank.
I'm going to read 2 poems from my new book. I'm still waiting for my first copy. It's very exciting, and it's called Prayer to the Invisible. The first poem is a San Francisco poem for those of us who live here and for people that are visiting. She might be a ballerina. She might be a ballerina. She's walking on 6-inch heels and struts like this is the way she was born. She might be dancing the part of Dulcinea, circling the windmill at the end of Golden Gate Park with a dog named Don Quixote. She might be a tattoo artist. She might be carrying roses with her trombone. She might be a student at the conservatory, or maybe she wakes up with her own music. She might be busking for the sea lions or tap dancing on a streetcar. She blows a kiss to the driver before she exits with her lavender tutu. The sun is falling into a watery horizon at the edge of the world. Her music is red and shining. The Golden Gate Bridge is her stage. The next poem is Appalachian Symphony. Drink this, morning air and light, birdsong in an old-growth forest at dawn, the moving shapes of exotic butterflies, so many species, flying in from a dream of the mountains. The Red River Gorge, arch of rock, ripple of water under a stone bridge, where time unfolds in the touch of an arm or a leg underwater. This is where music pulls you out of a dream into the warm Kentucky air, into the cave of memories of the mountain, a picnic by the river where you found the agate that morning. The river is rippling silver and the sound of a banjo inside an early summer wind, where a symphony reveals itself in the voices of the birds and a synesthesia of butterflies. Listen to the music your fingers reveal every morning. Listen to the wind's mysterious song. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Diane Frank. That was terrific. All right, Osiris the poet is here tonight. He's been one of my favorite parts of past open mics here at the Writers' Conference. I always feel like I'm in an author's lounge whenever I get to see him perform. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Briel Osiris. Come on up, please.
Okay, cool. So, first, hello everyone. I hope everyone's having a good night. Well, I did a lot of thinking prior to this moment as to what am I going to say. I came here a year ago. My father came I acknowledged him, I said something, did a poem about him, and then I also did a piece about my wife who had just beaten cancer, kidney cancer. Today, I was really moved by Dr. Andy's poem that he did during our panel, and it really made me think really heavy on something that I kind of just put to the side. So I'm active duty military, and there is a discrepancy going on in the service for people who are in the service who look like me. And not just that, but there are other people who have rapport with people who are minorities within the branch, within the uniform, who don't agree with what's going on. And there is a lot that's going on in this country right now. And so I say that to say, what I'm going to say, it is not written down. In fact, my niece here kind of gave me an idea as to the direction for a background as to what I'm going to say. And so I'm going to let you do your thing, sir, and we'll get to it. There we go. Anyone have familiarity with the military?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can do it. Slow it down just a little bit. Turn up. There we go. Okay. So to me, poetry is a form of expression, whether it's written in rhyming format or you're telling a story. To me, there has been such a wedge within our country. In particular, I've been in this service for 11 years, and when I joined the military, I joined with the idea of saving people and protecting the country. That's not what's happening right now. For me, I'm at complete odds and a dissonance as to what my morals are telling me to do and what my commander-in-chief is telling me to do. I signed the contract that told me under oath I would abide by the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States. It's what I signed. But I didn't sign up for what's going on. How can I feel at peace when my wife, who is Mexican, and my children who are black and Mexican, and when my nieces and my nephew who are Mexican, or when I have people who are minorities, and that's the very people that's being targeted in uniform? How can I then say and serve honorably and look people in the eyes? The citizens that I'm trying to protect are also being victimized by the system that we're supposed to protect. I don't get it, I don't understand it, but it's very difficult. And the people who I serve with, the men and women who I serve next to, who come in behind me, who have set the bar, who have done 20 years plus, proud members of the service, don't know what to do. I don't know how I can go home to my family and have this peace of mind knowing that what we have been told in meetings and being told in circumstances where we can't say anything because this is what's going to happen. Tomorrow you're going to go out and you're going to have to say this or reap the benefit or reap the consequences. And so I'm not somebody who is afraid to speak up. I'm very meticulous with my words and the things that come out of my mouth. But right now, I just want to touch anybody who has any member in the service or anyone impacted by what's going on with ICE or what's going on with the direction of our country. I'm not a politician. I don't go deep into politics whatsoever. I am a filmmaker, I'm a writer, I'm a poet. I verge in the side of creativity. The reason why I wanted this song to be played in the background is because I used to be a part of the service where we buried members and we played this song and we gave family members that flag folded to them, union facing us and placing it towards them. And the last thing that they do is they thank us and then they go about their day. They see that casket descend 6 feet underground and dirt goes over and that's the end. But what is it all worth? People who serve and they deploy and they go over into a completely different country have no idea why they are even there. And they stay there sometimes 9 months away from family. Think about what can happen if you had anyone in that mindset. It's really hard and you can be trapped. And so for me, I feel stuck. I don't know what to do. I have no idea how I'm going to continue on this path with my morals intact. I don't know. But all I know is I'm really grateful that Lissa Provost Dr. Andy and Sheryl, Bizé-Boutte, and you all are giving me an opportunity to come on stage and just express myself. I didn't write any of this stuff down. I just felt like I needed to come from the heart. So with that, I thank you all.
Osiris, the poet, thank you so much. All right, our next reader this evening is Dave Holt. Dave, come on up, please. Where are you, Dave? Is he here? I don't see Dave Holt going once, going twice.
I think he drove home.
Dave Holt drove home. And next up is Douglas Cole. Come on up, Douglas.
Out to all the San Franciscans. It's called Brian. My poor mad friend, once wild, hippie, San Francisco child of Haight-Ashbury with girlfriend Jenny and big dog Waldo, walking like a small, glorious, happy to be alive family with his time in the Navy rolling away behind him now. Free for all the world to raise his fist at the demonstration, to say no to the blood wars, to roam the roads and seas, for at heart he is a sailor. Going off to Oman to set up big rigs, spinning like clockwork, melting on the shore, and then on through the Red Sea and down the coast of Africa to meeting with malaria at the wedding of the town prince, he the only white man standing there in photographs with sunken face like Marlowe and Kurtz, eyes far away, and then back slowly through a dream on the railway by the blue sea, sweating to the sun and the snake of the coast, the fade in and fade out haunt of fever chills and blackouts, to Paris to meet a friend who of course immediately sees how sick he is and takes him straight to the hospital to get a shot and recover, and wait 3 years to recover. Recurrence always at his back, sweltering nights when he's back in California, blaze and golden swale and the sea at his feet, great glittering blue mind of world, always touching, riding her ways, and now he's selling motorcycles and making the circuit of biker bars in Ocean Beach and El Cajon in the hot neon palm dream lights, flying the freeways to Brother Chris's band at the restraints at the Spirit Club, or friends at the Low Tide, going faster and faster on his Yamaha 550, nights reeling through the ceiling fan, spinning in his basement apartment, tracer sunlights blurring overhead, Cowles Mountain burning, fire spiraling like a second hand. And then that even better job, more money, selling big parts, ball bearings for cranes, transmissions for tractors, and new synthetic drugs for a wound tight mind. I'll grow my hair forever, he says. Buy a new car and computer, I'm a 21st century man, refitted, maxed out, connected to chat lines, riding high with new girlfriend Betty, cooking crystal for all his friends, the ocean at his back, the railway through the front yard, engine blasting every 3 hours, and he's blazing. He's flying faster than sound, dancing all night in a blur and a haze, and a never-ending party gone way out of bounds, until boom, snap, crack, smack, shoot. The bleak morning, the unbearable monochromatic blue of sky. Where'd the fun go? Friends moving north, brother marrying, moving north. Snap, boom, shoot. That's it, I'm gone. North on the road, north he's going, with his cat in the back, scratching out its fur. The road unreeling in a blur. And the lights in his mind, the black night, ocean gleaming, moonlight streaming on the beach at Cape Blanco. At last, where he rides the shore in the silver glow and receives moonlight, sacred wisdom. Urantia! Yes, Urantia! It comes like enlightenment, like a Blake backyard radiant vision of pure God-fire. Angels come down to whisper in his brain. Urantia, the new land. Urantia, the place of God's children, come out of the maze of industrial America's Darwinian nightmare ooze. With clean souls and forbidden knowledge. Urantia, to live and love and give what you can, to do what you can. Say, fix the lady's refrigerator, paint some guy's mobile home, ask no price, take only what they offer, even if it's nothing at all. Dream it into reality, since reality is only this make-believe dreamland projection of the mind. Yes, it all comes back from the head of a pin, the voices of the masters, Zenpo speaking from the heaven world, texts of the beautiful all, to our free minds that wander in and out of bodies as we choose, or linger on the dark light hub of whirling fate, waiting to leap in, looking for perfect love partners entangled there below. Hear their cries and go, and he'll get a boat and live on it. No tax, no encumbrance of land, no phone, address, but the sea. And he tosses his credit cards, tosses the bills, leaves no forwarding address. Free, free, then temporarily living out of the back of his truck in Bayside Park, plans bus booming so that he can't sleep, has a drink, no more speed, pure adrenaline now, and the bay shrouded over, the dreamer on the bodiless rock, and he'll gather others to himself, work on boats, stay far from Uncle Sam's claws, pay no attention to his laws, only the pure God word spoken directly to the brain. The child knows before his ABCs, and he paces, the park lights humming, something unraveling, shadows full of hunger and skittering insect forms, and oh no, the vision is dissolving. No, it just won't hold. And now he sees his whole sad life made up of these episodes, fits and starts and incomplete decisions. He can't decide at all where to go, what to do, but takes his gun, he's got that too, and goes down to the shore to stand beside this vast dream sea. Oh, sad, sad, miserable me, a little flea dreaming he's a saint, when all he is a mad insect clawing at the stars, trapped in the bargain, mind world of illusions, roads and rooms and ruins. So he fires a shot out in the dark. There's a star for you. There's a shooting star, you lovers and sad sailors rolling on decks and unreal seas. That's my fiery blaze up there, so make a wish.
Thank you, Douglas Cole. That was great. And Jay, terrific on the piano. Thank you so much on the keyboard. All right. Our next poet is a naturalist and educator and the author of a number of books of poetry. Please welcome up Emilie Lygren. Come on up, Emilie.
Oh yeah, that definitely does not look like Steve.
It's like,
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for being such a wonderful audience. Thank you, Sheryl, champion of the day. Thank you, Andy. We just have to lower it. Great. Yeah, always have to lower the microphone for me. This first poem is called For the Love of Spiders. It's from my most recent book, Once I Was a Stone. Today, pulling weeds in the garden, I saw a spider whose abdomen and head and legs were bright green, the same shade of plant I'd just pulled from the ground. I let out a little gasp as the wind pressed through the grass's spindled seed heads, and I felt a familiar wonder bloom within me. The thought, I have never seen this before, which comes if I move slowly enough to let myself get drenched in surprise. And suddenly the spider became all the things I don't know yet. Climbing the wooden fences at the edge of my brain, woven so delicately with poise, dew just after rain. And I thought of all the spiders on Facebook and Nextdoor that neighbors and friends share. Look at what I found in my house. What should I do with it? The commenters always have the same chorus. Kill it. It's definitely a brown recluse. While my scientist friend and I patiently ask them not to. Point out at least 5 observable differences between their spider and the recluse, explain that there are over 3,000 species of spiders in North America, and recluses don't even live in this part of California, say it's probably a colobium, who are so fond of coming indoor come autumn, resist giving a lecture on how when you say probably in science,
It means you're actually pretty damn sure, but want to leave some room in case you're wrong. And I thought, there it is again. How easily we press danger on the innocent, on what we don't know. How many people have been killed for looking like a threat when they were doing nothing, when they were just existing in their body. How quickly suspicion rises when we're not curious enough. The swiftness with which we reach for hate. How the gun is grasped before one word is spoken. How the first sentence of every Google search preview about every kind of spider says whether it is venomous or not. I, who have loved spiders since I was 10, studied their webs in wonder, am asking you to move more slowly. I want every person you ever meet to wear a necklace engraved with the words, "You have never seen me before, take tender care." I want to replace all of the sentences about all of the spiders with that sentence. I want the message to look you right in the face so you remember to treat everyone like something bright and green and new, worthy of your slow attention. Even the spider at the corner of your closet. Even the person you were told to fear. Even your best friend or aging mother who you think you know, but have actually never seen before as they are today, on this spring day, so full of pollen and dew. I have one more short poem. And this is a poem that'll be in the anthology I have coming out from Blue Lake Press later this spring. It's called How to Get Home in the Dark, Poems on Mental Health and Healing for teens and young adults, and also anyone who's going through a hard time. So very excited to share that book with you all. This is called Chrysalis. Major 7. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Chrysalis. One day the caterpillar forms a chrysalis, waits a while, becomes a butterfly. They told us this much, told us to wait for chitin to split, for the emergence of dazzling colors and pumping wings, but no one ever really talked about what actually happened inside. How the caterpillar's whole body dissolves, how for a time there is nothing but soupy liquid, butterfly goo, formless for the rigid purse holding it in midair. And no one told us either that when the caterpillar was born, while it grew and crawled along, a few cells called imaginal already held instructions for what to build when it came time for another body. Here, the shining eye, the scaled wings. Let me remind you of the power of sticking around. If you are shapeless and scared, imagine yourself in that tiny thin-walled shell, whistling in the dark, some part of you already knowing the way.
Thank you so much, Emilie. And now, here's a poet who I enjoyed introducing to listeners of Yolo County on my radio show earlier this month. You're in for a treat. It's Mahnaz Badihian. Mahnaz, come on up, please.
Happy Valentine to everyone.
Happy Valentine's.
Okay. As many of you know, I'm from Iran. And if you guys following the news, you know that there are lots of killings going on in Iran because there is a revolution going on in Iran. So recently I wrote so many poems about that event. I'm going to read one poem which is a little bit sad, and then one funny poem too. But before I read that poem, I will read part of it in Farsi so you can hear me in Farsi. What happened about this poem is that, I was on Instagram and I saw that some Iranians abroad sent a message to Iranians in Iran saying, you are shot there and I die here.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really, really, really heavy, strong sentence. So I wrote this poem. I will read part of it in Farsi. تا آنجا گلوله میخوری من اینجا میمیرم چه فاصله کوتاهی است میان شلیک و مرگ گلوله مرز نمیشناسد از خیابانها میگذرد و در قلب تبعید مینشیند تو بر زمین میافتی و من ایستاده دفن میشوم تو خون میدهی و من نفس. So this was part of the Farsi section, and I want to tell you that what I'm reading is the exact same language that Rumi used 800 years ago. It didn't change. Those are the same vocabulary, the same thing, except different chords. So I will read that in English now. You are shot there, and I die here. How short the distance is between a gunshot and death. A bullet knows no borders. It passes through the streets of Iran and settles in the heart of exile. You fall to the ground and I, standing, lose my breath. You give blood and I give breath. Each day we die with the news. Each day we die with the news and buried images, and in the morning walk like the living dead, hoping someone will ask, are you still alive? No mother was prepared for these many coffins. We buried with you in the fire, but we did not turn to ash. From the soil we grow wings. From death we called out the name of Iran. Hand in hand, wounded, weaponless, except for love and rage, we will pull Iran once more from beneath the rubbles. You are shot there and I die here. So that was the point. Now, as I promised, a little bit funny poem. This poem called DNA. Some of you may have heard this poem today when I was reading it in one of the events. It was Monday morning, and I was passing the big statue in the lobby of Johns Hopkins Hospital, searching for room 202. The first interview with Mrs. Willis. She had a kind smile on her lips. Her hands were wrinkled with red nail polish. Mrs. Willis looked me in the eyes. How do I pronounce your name, dear? I said, Mahnaz, M-A-H-N-A-Z. The exact same way it is written. Mrs. Willis, with her master's degree, said, I will try. Mahnaz, Mahnaz. Then gently she changed her voice and said, can I call you Mary? Mary, Mori, Miri, echoed in my head. I felt like an evaporating morning dew, like a branch of a tree under heavy rain, like fruit just fell from a tree. I looked Mrs. Willis in the eyes and said, but my name is the charm of the moon, the name I was called by my mother and by the man with black hair and dark mustache. Mrs. Willis was looking at me with wide open eyes, and I said, Mrs. Willis, is my name more difficult than ribonucleic acid?
Thank you, Mahnaz. All right, here's a poet who was born in Ecuador, educated at Rutgers and UC Merced, now teaches in a number of places, including in our prisons and our schools. He mentions quite prominently on his bio on his website that he is a proud panelist at the San Francisco Writers Conference. I'm glad that we can give him yet another platform. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Juan Luzuriaga. Come on up, Juan. Thank you.
Way to hang in there on the last name, I appreciate that. This poem, it's a poem. So for all of you who's creative here, raise your hand, I just want to say. If you're creative, this is the reason why. This is called Umbilical Garden. My nanny has a secret. She looks both ways, leans in, cups her hand and whispers to my mom, bury his ombligo, señora. He'll grow to be creative. My mom digs in the garden, plants my umbilical cord beside red roses. She presses a piece inside a leather book. Photos, dates, dried blood. When I'm 5, I start to notice rose petals blooming from my belly button. I pluck them and poetry comes out. And this is called No Credit. I don't know, I've heard some people say that somewhere in the Mideast, there's, Midwest, there's something where you can pay, like, hey, I'll pay you later. You go to the store and do that, which is kind of interesting. This is called No Credit. There is a tienda on my block, past all the houses down the hill. My dad sends me to the store to get his rum and cigarettes. Apúrate, he barks. My mom howls from the kitchen, rice and eggs too. At 8 years old, I take every chance to be outside. I keep my eyes jump ready for any street dogs and repeat the order in my head all the way there. The tienda is not a store, it's a house. But nobody can go inside. Instead there's a barred window with a yellow curtain that smells like the corvina frying in the back. The word tienda is painted above the window in faded letters, the paint dripping like it rained once and never dried. Behind the see-through curtain, boxes of chips, Coca-Cola, gum. The man who works there wears his glasses on the tip of his baguette nose. His gray broom mustache hides his lips and dances when he talks. He fidgets with a coin, see? I repeat what my dad asked for. He brings his chin to his chest, squints and scans me. I get scared. What if he thinks I'm lying and calls the police? His glasses almost drops when he asks, for your papa, no? I nod like a bobble-headed chicken. His hands twirling and dancing with the ends of the plastic bag handles, he ties them childproof tight. Then I tell him what my mom asked for. He doesn't scan me or tie that bag tight. He just hands it over. That's when I realized that I don't have any money. He says the total and I start explaining. He takes out this little booklet and scribbles something down. Now he's gonna call the police for sure. Tell your dad to stop by and pay for his credit. I read above the rum box in crude letters, no feel. It says he doesn't give any credit, but I look down at both my bags and say, oh, and they said 1 ice cream sandwich too, please.
Thank you, Juan. All right, now we're going to shift gears a little bit. We have here a poet in Vaani, someone who is an Amazon best-selling author, a director of the Hidden Loop, I bet you want to know what that is, and a TEDx speaker. Impressive, I would say, especially because when did she graduate from high school? 2027. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, the winner of our Student Poetry Scholarship, reading at the San Francisco Writers Conference stage for the first time. It is Vaani Tiwari. Come on up, Vaani.
Hello. Okay. Hi. Wow, this is a lot of people. I'm going to be reading two poems. The first one is, I think they're both actually slam poems. This first one I wrote last night, so bear with me, and then the second one's like super duper short. So yeah. Here we go. The first one's called Bullet Points for a Heartbeat. Ask me who I am and watch my mouth search for structure like a child reaching for their mother's arm. Watch me start listing like my throat is a printer because my tongue learned formatting before it learned joy. Somewhere between attendance and ambition, my name stopped being a name and became a resume that learned to breathe, a ledger with a heartbeat, a child translated into inventory. I am honors, AP, IB, present, founder, published. I'm the sound of a planner page turning. I'm the taste of dry granola in the car because there was no time to eat. There are hours of every kind, volunteer, leadership, service, tutoring, stacked like coins on my tongue so I can pay for the right to be taken seriously. Ask me who I am, and I won't tell you what I love. I'll tell you what I can endure. I won't say I like the smell of rain. I'll say I work well under pressure. I won't say I'm tired. I'll say I'm motivated, because tired is a crack in the product, whereas motivated is a brand. And they clap. They do. They clap like your body's a machine that finally learned manners. They clap like exhaustion is charisma, like trembling arms are just ambition rehearsing. They see the bruises under your eyes and call them drive. They see you live on 3 hours of sleep and say you're going places, and I want to laugh, because yes, I am going places. If by places you mean to the nurse's office, or to a therapist's waiting room, or to the bathroom stall between second and third period where I learned how to cry without sound, like a skill, like something you can put on a transcript. To 1:47 a.m. when a blank Google Doc opens its mouth and the cursor blinks, slow, steady. Smug like a tiny metronome for panic, like it's counting down, waiting for you to become useful again. Because you trained your whole life to perform, not to live. They tell us you can be anything, but they forget to mention you must be everything all at once, immediately, flawlessly, with perfect skin and perfect grades and a sport and a club and a cause and a passion project and a personality that shines without making a mess. They want you interesting, but not complicated. They want you wounded, but in a way that photographs well, because pain is only allowed to exist when it can be packaged, when it can be captioned, when it can be turned into an origin story with a moral and an acceptable amount of blood. The moment it's real, the moment it spills, the moment it stops being aesthetic and turns into grief, the room changes temperature. Suddenly, everyone remembers they have somewhere else to be. They stop clapping, they start suggesting, have you tried taking a break? A break. Like life is a show, you can pause, like deadlines have empathy, like school cares if you're hollow, like money listens. First, we made burnout a badge. Then a religion, and now a requirement. We made rest suspicious, we made sleep something you have to earn, like food, like softness, like you need to prove you deserve your own body. And the cruel part is that we're not even doing this for ourselves. We're doing it for a future we might never meet, for a college that might yet reject us with a polite email that says no in 12 different ways, for a job that will call you family but really mean disposable, for an algorithm that smiles when you suffer as long as it's productive, as long as it can be turned into content. Capitalism is a talented puppeteer. It doesn't need chains, it uses calendars, it doesn't need whips, it uses rankings. It doesn't have to break you in one day. It just teaches you to measure yourself until you do it for free. Wow. It raises you on numbers, feeds you metrics until you forget you were ever a person. So we learn to speak fluently in measurement. GPA, ACT, SAT, acceptances, followers, views, engagement, word count, step count, calories, sleep score, screen time, everything counted. So nothing has to be felt. Yeah. And then you look at a girl who can do everything except feel okay and wonder why. Ask me who I am, and I will still hand you that list, because this was never about joy. Joy doesn't show up on resumes. This was about output, about getting a better job, to make money, to keep working, to keep making money, to keep working until we retire, right when our bones finally admit we were never built for this. We save for vacations our bodies can't enjoy. We buy homes we're never inside. We chase stability, yet stability keeps stepping backwards, and every year the age of indoctrination creeps lower. Career day becomes kindergarten, resumes become middle school, burnout becomes a childhood milestone like losing your first tooth. They don't call it slavery because we chose it. They just forgot to tell us we were choosing at knife point. They don't chain our ankles, they chain our worth. They teach us early that if you are not producing, you are pointless. And I wish I had a hopeful ending, I really do, but hope is expensive and they raise us to be economical. Ask me who I am and I will tell you. I am a child turned into a product and told to be grateful for the packaging, and the question that keeps chewing through me, even when I'm smiling, even when I'm achieving, even when I'm winning, is what is all this for if the finish line is just another treadmill with a better view? Sounds like I hate my life. I don't hate my life. Okay, and then I have one more poem. It's pretty short. It's about beauty standards from social media. About 30 seconds. Okay. It's called You Are Almost Beautiful. This is the first poem that went viral for me on social media, by the way, so I like it. But yeah. You are almost beautiful if you change this one thing, if you fix your nose, if you lift your eyes, if you sculpt your cheekbones into knives. You are almost beautiful if you pluck it, shave it, bleach it, scrub it raw, starve it silent. You are almost beautiful if you buy the right shade of foundation, if you contour your face into something worth looking at, if you overline your lips, but not too much. If you wear lashes, but not the ones that make it obvious. If you make it look effortless. You are almost beautiful if you do everything right, if you follow the trends, if you carve your jawline, if you melt your fat, if you inject your youth before it fades. You are almost beautiful until the trends change, until a new face is in season, until your body's out of style. You are almost beautiful until someone decides you just aren't anymore, and so you start once more.
Vaani, Tawari, thank you so much. These are the sort of poets that we celebrate, encourage, and reward with scholarships. So thanks to all of you, for instance, who support the Writers' Conference on Patreon, because we'll be able to offer more such scholarships in the future. All right, now, I'm excited to say we're moving on to page 2 of my multi-page sign-up sheet. That means 3 minutes or 2 items, whichever is shorter. And we're ready. We're ready to show you the 1-minute sign. We're ready to show you the stop sign. Don't trigger the stop sign. Ladies and gentlemen, of all the non-faculty and award winners, Russ Shane not only signed up first, but has been sitting up here at this captain's table for the entire evening. Ladies and gentlemen, Russ Shane.
Hi, happy Valentine's Day. This is called Groovy Boyfriends. This is a date novel. This is called Groovy Boyfriends, but I hope to be a debut novel. Summer in Brentwood, 1967. Gil Weintraub sits down at the typewriter he got for his 11th birthday. He rolls a 6x9 sheet of caressable bond typing paper into the bail and readies his index finger for keyboard strikage. His mother calls this method of typing hunt and peck. Gil has learned to do this at high speed. One day, he will learn how to type the way his mother does. All 10 fingers. ASDF, JKL, semicolon. Gil is in love. He knows he's too young to be in love. But with Russia armed with nuclear warheads and the US determined to keep up with the Kasparovs, as Mr. Gold, his elementary school teacher, once quipped, he and the planet and his beloved may only have a few more months left to live. So he's going to live those few months in love, so that when he's in his underground shelter, he can look back on something good. The first letter he strikes is dear, D for dear, with the shift key to hold down with the index finger, his other hand to make an uppercase letter. Then, in lowercase, with his right hand, free of the shift, key E-A-R, and then shift J for his new favorite letter of the alphabet. then E again, and the rest of the 9 letters that comprise the most beautiful name in the world, for the most beautiful girl in the world. Joyous jump for joy, Jeanette. His whole body grins from ear to ear as he types A-N-N-E-T-T-E. Summer, Norway, 1967. Jeanette Norman selects the postcard from the pile her parents purchased for her, and an Inkjoy ballpoint pen with hot pink ink from the package of 12 from the Vitus Apotheke drugstore down the street in Stavanger. Her mom and dad are watching television in the next room with her twin sisters. They're in something called a suite, which is a hotel room with more than one room, it seems. The whole family is resting up for tomorrow when they meet Otto Sarsgaard, her father's long-lost half-brother. This meeting could result in a terrible development. Her family moving to Norway. Norway! Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. All right, quick announcement. It's the one you've been dreading. The bar closes in 10 minutes. So if you want to get another drink, and who could blame you, this would be a good time to go acquire that drink. Notice the strategic people who are saying, I hear you, Dr. Andy. I'm off to the bar right now. I know that this will last for hours. I must stay hydrated. All right. All of you have been wondering tonight, who is going to bring the funk to this jazz poetry event? I'll tell you who will. Eric Funk will bring the funk. Eric, come on up, please.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Eric Funk. Gods have never been more powerful than us. We made them to fill the spaces in our mind that scared us. There was never any magic. There was just a trick. Our first, worst trick: to believe and pretend. To make up explanations out of nothing. Fears created, fears resolved, same way, same thing. Any reason can come from anyone, but the most adamant believer is the most persuasive. Maybe their belief is real. A million interpretations later, now it's mine. Every feeling has an answer, every answer a mystery. No one remembers the first make-believer. All that matters is it is mine. Now I must make you a believer. My power is being a believer maker. Games with made-up rules, plays with people playing made-up people. New religions, new nations, new money, new products, new books, new truths, new theories, new schools, new confusion. Same old make-believe needs the same old suspension of disbelief. Thinking doesn't matter anymore. It's just your imagination against yours. First killer wins. One rule to rule them all. No make-believe for non-believers. What are the made-up rules now? The most willing to do anything to make their pretend the shared dream across the land. Dance through the illusion, O seer, but never pretend that you will shatter the delusion. There's too much power behind it. You're not ready for it to break. Dance around the matrix of the madness. Madness seems angry breeds, outrage at the rage over nothing. Dearly departed dancer dreamt of dreamlessness, the dance macabre of the soul and soul, too alive to believe, too human to evolve. It's harmless, it's fun, it's just It just justifies rape and guns. Just pretend. There is no wrong when arguments are gone. Just pretend. You don't have to care or take responsibility. Just pretend. We have always lived in pure anarchy. Everything else is just pretend.
Thank you, Eric Funk. And now let's bring up to the microphone Kenneth Baker. Kenneth Baker, come on up, please. Are you here, Kenneth Baker? Here he comes. Kenneth Baker, ladies and gentlemen.
Valentine's Day. This poem is to my second most favorite person in the world. It is called My Hand. My hand. Here, this is my hand. The faint lines in the skin punctuated by hairs that up close seem randomly placed, yet they swirl and lay neatly. This is my hand, with the faint white scars earned while roughhousing with the needle-sharp claws of a kitten. My hand that I used to type, to cook, to put words and music to paper, fingers curling around a pencil, arm muscles dancing, creating swirling shapes of letters. The hand that tickles, points, pushes, flutters as I expound with exquisite detail on matters that many care nothing about. My hand that held you when you weren't much bigger than a loaf of bread, that patted your back in an effort to jostle bubbles out of gas to freedom. This is the hand that as you left for college waved goodbye, covered the mouth to muffle a soft moan of despair, that wiped a tear from my lover's cheek. Here, this is my hand. There could be no other.
Thank you, Kenneth Baker. And now, here's another one of our scholarship winners, all the way from Sacramento. Please put your hands together for Norlin Parker. Come on up, Norlin.
Crown shyness. Crown shyness is a phenomenon observed in some tree species in which the crowns of fully stalked trees do not touch each other, forming a canopy with channel-like gaps. Something interesting happens in this type of heat while being folded and unfolded, coiled and uncoiled. Your chest blooms, thumb to sternum, shoulder blade reaches. Prayers are cut in half and your feet grip onto earth as they try and grow thumbs. Something happens as you sit deep and awkward, low, and still lower with tips up trembling with a neck that cranes up to see past Tuesday. Low, she says, lower. Hover as if over a gas station bathroom. Something happens as you stand up again, straight, and then jackknife your body. It's 106 degrees, and the series has 26 postures. The most important thing is to stay in the room. The postures are optional. Something happens to a room filled with half moons in orbit, side bodies lengthening. Something happens as you pull your belly towards your spine for that throat-choked feeling. This is good for your thyroid, she says. Something happens when you lift your leg, refusing to let that glass of water spill. Go back, fall back, look back, way back, release. Don't worry, it won't fall off. Your neck was meant to bend that way. Something happens when your third eye touches your shin. You realize the place where an orgasm lays dormant is not the place you thought. Let us detox so we can retox, she says. Something happens when you hug your liver, removing wind. Something happens as you finally relax your jaw, letting go of the day, and become cobra, locust, tortoise, camel, rabbit. As you twist your body as tight as an eagle turn, stretching 12 major joints, limbs like juicy ropes. Listen, she says, to the rainforest in your elbows. Something happens as your brow furrows, the divine in me sees the divine in you. There goes her tongue again, rattling off Sanskrit like nobody's business, stealing you away from tomorrow's grocery list, conducting us, filling our bodies with steam. Something happens as you realize you have all become trees.
Thank you, Norlin. All right, here's a poet who I got to talk to for a while at that sipping event yesterday. And as I reflected on her thoughts, and I was out walking our French bulldog, I decided just to buy her book right then. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, the author of Wrangling the Doubt Monster, Fighting Fears, Finding Inspiration. It's Amy L. Bernstein. Come on up,
Amy. Thank you, Amy. It's a fine book.
Yeah.
You don't realize that Jay leads a double life. He is also a tech guru who has saved my ass at the conference. And now he's my piano player, and I wonder what comes next. So, maestro, politics, maybe something on the organ that's like a funeral. You can whip that out, right? I have a bit of an obsession with people who climb mountains above where there's oxygen and put their bodies where bodies should not be. So this is called Letter to a One-Way Mountaineer. Alive, not alive. Twinned splotches on the common timeline, the truth in my bones now, because I met you. Bore witness to your demonstrations, how time folds on itself, on you, how a tilting crust of snow ice is a face of time putting on a show. Thermodynamics at play, bodies in motion, stay in motion, bodies at rest. I would not know this, but for the way you order life, ending as you begin with us, not with us. Opposite states as paired truths, your heart beating, not beating, your eyes open, a camera shutter open to record Earth's sweeping curvature, punctured by jagged peaks in deoxygenated air. Your eyes close, you crumple in peace, maybe in pieces, beneath a particular snow ice shelf, eternally ready to envelop you in a permafrost embrace. You teach me that sequentialism is an illusion. Never this, then that, but this and that, entwined like lovers refusing to part. You teach me that tragedy is a choice, not an inevitability. given joy's concurrent clamor for attention, you unleash the possibility of quantum superpositionality, an object in two places at once until it's measured. Are you then yet to be measured? Or are you unmeasurable? You never leave because you never truly arrive. Instead, omnipresent, belonging to continuity itself, to the unending atomic swirl, belonging to the vertical mountain face that embraces your calloused fingers, forever fondling, forever seeking the grip that pins you in place against unyielding rock, hurtling you upward, outward, toward the endless supply of time's snow ice shelves. From you I learn, I too live and cease to live even now. I too am yet to be measured, a dancer waltzing across an endless floor, the unspeakable and the ineffable keeping the beat. My letter to you, a consciousness older than the jagged bed of screed that receives and releases you at once and always.
Amy L. Bernstein. Thank you so much, Amy. That was terrific.
Thank you.
And now, let's welcome up Partho Sereno. Come on up, Partho, please.
Hello, you can hear me?
Yep.
Great. So I have two little things. One is a poem I wrote on the ferry coming here. I don't usually do that, but I thought, let's try it. I'm calling it right now, Looking Through the Diamonds. 26 years riding this ferry, and it still brings me to tears. The inmates of San Quentin, looking through the diamonds of the chain link fence as we drift by. And then we all wave. Who first, the incarcerated or us interloping sailors? I never can say. But a fire is lit. The salt air between us is charged, luminous with photons and electrons, particles, dark matter, waves. And then, as a matter of course, we're ferried back to our own little selves, more porous now, a condition I can only call holy. And I'm so pleased to share this book with you. Last year, I met a woman at this conference whose name was Luzuriaga something. Anyway, she's a Ukrainian American, and we worked on the translating children's poems of war, and we worked on them for many months. And I'm just going to read one of my favorites from this collection. It's not quite really published. This is a zine we made to try to find a publisher. This is called Storks on the Green, written by a 14-year-old girl named Sophia. Storks have come back to our village green, as nearby the war roars loud as a cannon. The storks have returned to their homeland. They say, in stork language, we don't want war. They have built a small nest where they care for their chicks, where they raise their young and rejoice in the arrival of spring. They wander together at night as the stars fall. They don't want, just like people, don't want war. Everything close is flourishing. Everything is in bloom. Spring weaves her hair into a fragrant braid. She embraces and caresses us all. Oh, to simply live and enjoy this green blooming spring, to know the world where there is no war.
Thank you so much. And next up is Milo Schaff. Milo, come on up, please. Milo. Here we go.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yep.
The poem I'm going to read is entitled On the Road at Last, and it's inspired by Escape, which was painted by Ina Lager. So imagine you're seeing the painting, and you're in a car, and you're heading down a road that you thought you traveled 100 times before. So here is On the Road at Last. I don't like orange, but this old sweetie car wore a shade I'd never seen. On a late, hot afternoon, we headed for the beach. Towels, bikinis, that's all they sell these days. Water, ripe leftovers, and Dubonnet, all safe in the black hole of our trunk. We had begun the last course of Eleanor Rigby, or what we could remember, anyway, when I stopped conducting. I swiveled back to steer and stare at the road, falling again into that boggy gray we both carried. If only, my friend said, I'd never been loved. If only, I replied, love was a chronic infection. The pavement ahead somehow was banded in colors of cinnamon and dark mauve, flood-lit by my green-tinted sunglasses. Then I saw the clouds, somber red against dull pink sky. My friend grabbed my shoulder and shook it until I felt like a dog, a wet dog. She pointed. Fluorescent yellow strips edged the asphalt ahead, as if microscopic, incandescent bugs lined up to signal us on. Our bit of world now hung in wild twilight. I couldn't hear any ocean slam or feel the ruts and rocks of the beach road. Scents of cedar and pine and the taste of earth blew through our windows. The engine spoke in deep, soundless rumbles, the kind elephants use to communicate. We sat back with the radio alive and pulsing, and the car drove herself on to our wide, wondrous next. Thank you.
Thank you, Milo. And next up is Jonathan Pazer. Jonathan, come on up, please.
Thanks. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, the last time I was here, I hadn't had a stroke, and I hadn't lost the ability to read or remember the alphabet or do a bunch of other useful things for a writer.
Yeah.
And I can mostly do them now. Underline mostly. So this is from a book, 7 Dimensions of the Unseen. It's they're ekphrastic poems based on abstract photography that I did. And here's the first one. Big white face. When I first set out to when I set out
to render visible the mystical and unseen structure of everything. I hadn't a moment's concern that I would instead reveal my own secrets for all to see and nothing else. And in honor of the holiday, this is a Valentine's poem. Blazing white rose. I stiffly handed you the rose. You took it, barely acknowledging the gift. Awkwardly, you held it in your hand, but you did not inhale. Unimaginably fierce screams filled my head when you dropped it and quickly turned from me. In a life of feeling misunderstood, that instant held an endless litany of unlearned lessons and broken yardsticks. Then you sneezed and turned back to grab me and kiss my mouth. I lost my balance in your embrace, and together we fell in a giggling heap on the grass.
Thank you, Jonathan, and welcome back. Let's hear now from Donna Stevens Keel. Come on up, Donna, please. Donna was called away. So let's go to Cassie Nesmith. Come on up, Cassie.
This is Do the Angels Still Sing? The angels swirled around in circles. They caught the music roundabout rhyme. Singing melody and miracles, they dipped and twisted. 100 topaz eyes, as many bronze wings, fiery trails above me, so small on the piano. They touched my hands. We played together, songs I'd never heard then or since. The sacred fragrance of redwood trees, of smoke. In that chapel, I played only for no one but the divine. Though I left them long ago, the holy music, even the piano, as a woman having put away childish things, I wonder still, those same angels that only I could see, do those strange angels still sing? This is once. I want to be disappointed. A signal of hope, love, desire. I want to hurt, to have that sinking feeling. I want to have my heart broken. Proof I know about hope, love, desire. That I gave myself wholly to someone unworthy and unwise. I don't want that pain to linger. I don't want that pain to linger. I want it to pierce. Hope, love, desire comes with longing, and longing is infinite. I want it all now. Then I want it to go away.
Thank you, Cassie. Next up is Valerie Roach. Valerie, come on up, please.
Hello, everyone.
So I've got a poem here that I call Last Night You Called to Say. Last night you called to say, pregnant. No man around, except maybe the live-in boyfriend, your latest. He's schizophrenic, but you love him. He missed his intake today at the hospital, moved back with his parents. You don't know if you ever want to see him again. You don't know how you feel about him, but the baby you want to keep, you think it's a girl because you are so nauseous, unlike with the first three, all boys. Are you happy, I ask? You catch your breath, the tiniest wobble betrays you. So sad, so happy, all at once, you say. Oh, my little nightingale, oh, my little girl, oh, my daughter, why do you sing only as dusk gathers into night, your warbled trills piercing the deep, cool dark? Night air bends and bends until it nearly breaks under the vibration that is you. Oh, my little nightingale, oh, my little girl, oh, my daughter, so sad, so happy all at once, you say. Then I hear your laugh in the bath as you splash your hands on the water's still surface, see the streamers on your bike riding on the breeze, smell your delight at a just-baked chocolate cake cooling on the table. Darling, here's my wish for you. May she make you laugh like you made me. May she hug you for joy like you hugged me. May she wake you at dawn with song at the end of a long, cold night. Oh, oh, oh.
Thank you, Valerie. And next up is Al Frankie. Come on up, Al.
Andy did a wonderful job at the Poetry Summit today, and he read us a poem that he wrote for Renee Good. I wrote a piece as well that I wanted to perform. This is for good. I cannot teach you how to be a man. Bro, you gotta figure out that shit yourself. Are you a man that lays a hand on another man in anger? Are you a man that abuses a defenseless child? Are you a man that shoots a bullet as a threat and then claims it's self-defense? Are you a man that's terrified of women dropping children off at school? Are you a man that's driven by the need to be right all the time, even if it costs someone their life? Are you a man that won't admit that perhaps you have chosen to defend oppressive rule? Are you a man that will double down and throw a mother's name in dirt just to avoid looking in the mirror? Are you a man that will allow yourself to finally arrive at the conclusion that the cause that you so zealously defend will be defined as just another act of senseless violence? I have another one. This one's called Intermission is Canceled. Why is this happening? Can somebody explain this bit? I don't know where the plot is going. The play is not even at intermission, but the characters are acting weird. Someone just disappeared the conductor right in front of us. It's scaring me. The seats are emptier and emptier every time I turn my head. It's giving me anxiety. I swear I bought my ticket at the counter like they told me. Now they say it's not legit. The understudy is screaming from the rafters, "This is madness." The front row is not doing anything about this. Someone kick their seats. The crowd gasps as the curtains falling. The wooden stage underneath moans and creaks. And just when you think the show is over, the real show begins.
Thank you, Al. Those were great. And next up, let's bring to the microphone Brenda Ray. Brenda, come on up, please.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say thank you so much to all of the readers and performers tonight. I've just been really enjoying your work, so thank you so much, everybody, for sharing. My name is Brenda Ray, and I'm going to perform a poem I actually wrote when I was 19. I'm from Boise, Idaho, and Idaho has some of the strictest abortion laws in the country. And I wrote this poem when I was 19, looking back on myself as a 15-year-old, and it's hilarious because now I'm 34, and I'm like, you are both children. This is the poem. I'm standing in the body care aisle at Walmart, trying to decipher some unfamiliar code, calmly comparing prices like I know what I'm doing, but these products were for adults. For women who paint their rooms blue and their eyes brown, women who own a house, wear their sweaters up to their necks. Technology detects the hormones in your body, picking them out like a disease, because to me, pregnancy felt more like an STD, at least at 15. My hands reach for a box, it costs $10.95. I do the math in my head. That's about an hour and a half's worth of work at my after-school job. I'm a hostess at Cafe Olé. I look around me, but this aisle's not getting any emptier. I reach for the box I've chosen like it's my very own scarlet letter. The checkout stand feels more like a stage. I'm on display as I slip the pregnancy test across the counter. The whole world has stopped to watch this dirty and impure transaction. I feel unfamiliar eyes scanning my skin. I agonize in the loss of privacy because I'm the one who committed the sin. I pay in cash, just like every other secret is paid. And I hope that this day will be silently filed into the untold catalog of secrets that Miss America keeps under her bed. And even though I can't afford it, I want to chuck a book onto that conveyor belt, just to say, you know, I'm not just some pregnant girl. I read. So then I find the closest bathroom with the shame burning through my hands, but locking myself into a stall doesn't come soon enough. Between me and these walls, I whispered a secret. I'm scared. I know that I walk tall and I say my name loud, but these walls had me naked and shaking underneath all of the futures that were slipping through my hands. Barricading bones of the stories of the way I chose to love, running with the blood I grew from my mother and the grandmother before her and before her and before her. We women are warriors, I remind myself. But I can't help but feel like something has been stolen from me, like the summer falling out of my hip bones. Brenda, listen to me, I say. This has been done before you. These stories are stitched into the fabric of your fingerprints. You can do this. But I can't help but wonder how many girls left their brilliance behind, trapped within gas station floors and Winco stalls. I pee on a stick, trying to trap my hormones, but 2 minutes becomes a lifetime when you're waiting for the results of a $10 pregnancy test for the price of $10. You can watch your whole future fall. I peer over at the stick of white plastic, and I'm sure the whole bathroom can hear the sound of my hoping, please, please, please. But in my mind, all I can see are the eyes of that part-time clerk and the way that he looked at me as if my story was his to tell, as if he knew better, because somehow the whole world is entitled to know I gave my body away. My love and my history have become public property today. Thank you. Wow.
Thank you, Brenda. And next up, Janate Picagallo. Janate, are you here? If I pronounced your name so poorly that you will not come up. No, here she comes. She's coming this way from the back of the room. So many obstacles between the back of the room and the stage. Which way to go? It's like a maze. She will make it here presently, amazedly. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Janate Picagallo.
Andy challenged me today to read, so I wrote something. That I published on social media 2 years ago, and because today is Valentine's Day, I tweaked it a little bit. Happy Valentine's Day, all of you. Okay. They said it's not possible to find a good man who can love a strong, independent woman. They said men feel threatened. They said, shine less, be softer. That belief was the accepted norm in almost every culture I encountered. And that is what I was convinced of, shutting my heart toward men and the conditional love they offered. A turned pessimist heart I nurtured until I met you. The quiet one, the introvert, the man of few words, you from Italy, me from Eritrea, a country your ancestors colonized for 15 years. History said we were supposed to be enemies. Some asked me, are you crazy to marry him? Some asked you, are you sure? But love has never asked permission from politics, and healing never checks passports. And here we are, two ordinary people doing extraordinary healing in our kitchen. You bring pasta in 20 varieties, pizza without pineapple, obviously. Wine that breathes before it speaks. Espresso bold enough to debate anyone. I bring injera, spices that tickle your tongue and sometimes make toilet time adventurous. Dishes of Africa that flirt with your palate and refuse to be ignored. Your espresso stands proud, while my Ethiopian coffee from the land where coffee was born enters quietly and wins the room. And yes, sometimes I announce to your relatives, did you know the word coffee comes from Kaffa, a region in Ethiopia? Their eyes widen. They think coffee is purely Italian. And I laugh. Between Rome and Addis, between espresso and Buna, we rewrite history gently with humor. You interpret the word through Latin roots, with Socrates whispering, no thyself. You interpret the world through Latin roots. I'm repeating.
Oversized and fanged and ferocious, never wearing suits. I remember that scientists recently upgraded the chances that an asteroid would hit Earth in 2032, and how reading that didn't feel as much like bad news as it once might have. And that when the chances were again downgraded, I felt a little loss over such a much more charming and cinematic kind of existential crisis. As we start down the beach, away from the land of the dinosaurs, all around us, people in communion with the ocean, and yet the ocean with no real idea of what it's being told. Everyone here today for their own reasons, but the ocean unable to tell the difference between a happy beach walk and a griefy one, because the ocean doesn't know. It doesn't know about plane crashes or egg prices or senseless deaths or metastasizing administration. The ocean just sits and receives, like your one friend who's an exceptionally great listener. And it gives back its expansiveness, its promise, reminding us we're small without saying a thing. Always remaining resolute in its oceanness, answering to the moon alone, sending its waves toward us and then thinking better of it and taking them back. Over and over, climbing up the beach twice a day, high on itself, as if contemplating a life on land once and for all. But who'd do that, especially now? Twice a day, the ocean runs back the other way, retreating, assuming life on land is for the people and the birds.
Thank you, Jen. Are you ready, Janine? She's so ready. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Janine Inez. Come on up, Janine.
Hey everyone, I'm Janine, and I share a birthday with Diane Frank. This is lesson the 83rd. The girl who climbed onto her tiny balcony and fell asleep in the middle of winter in an attempt to freeze or find the greater sky. She is also you. The girl who crawled under the table and carved cries for help into the wood, wondering if anyone would notice if she stayed under there forever. She is also you. The girl who fell in love with another girl and fell flat on her face, love pouring out of her eyes and ears and nose and mouth until she nearly asphyxiated. She is also you. The girl who stood in front of the turnstile crying, heart pulsing, terrified what she would do if she got close to the tracks, so strangers walking by stopped and just prayed. She is also you. The girl who decided she could find meaning in life again by editing films and writing screenplays, so she taught herself how, and then she went across the country to be taught. She is also you. The girl who went across the country to be taught writing and got a course in miracles and mistakes instead. She is also you. The girl who fell in and out of happiness as often as the sun and the moon dip below the equator. She is also you. The girl who ricocheted back and forth in every romantic relationship she was lucky enough to find. The girl who could fall in love with almost anyone. She is also you. The girl who barely slept, barely ate, barely breathed for a quantity of nearly 2 years, wondering if she lied still, very, very still, and closed her eyes. Could she will her organs to stop working? She is also you. The girl who nearly dropped out of school, who curled up at her childhood home under a pile of blankets for over a year and tried to convince herself there's just no use. She's also you. The girl who taught herself to draw an immaculate iris that could see all and ward off evil. She is also you. The girl who stayed up late eating her first meal of the day at midnight with her beautiful cousin from Jamaica, trying to laugh, not to laugh too hard, lest she wake up the whole house. She is also you. The girl who pulled herself up to her elbows, then her knees, then her feet, wobbly but standing, and trudged all the way across the country to receive the help she needed. She is also you. The girl who ragefully kicked over a waste bin in her therapist's office because they'd just come in with news of her grandmother's death, then immediately apologized profusely. She is also you. The girl who got enough help to go back to school, who told herself it was what grandma would have wanted. She is also you. The girl who choked on Riesling every night, eyes sparkling as she watched Samurai Champloo and half-heartedly contemplated which ceiling fixture in her bedroom would be sturdy enough to affix a rope to. She is also you. The girl who brought a 7-day candle from the witch on the way to therapy and lit it dutifully and as instructed every night in honor of her grandmother, in honor of her love. The girl who believed. She is also you. The girl who sat in the audience of strangers to receive her degree, feeling like all her friends had left her behind. The girl who never forgave them. She is also you. The girl who pulled herself back onto her elbows and knees and hands again and worked odd jobs she hated because she realized the only thing she was missing was money. No. Stability. No. Discipline. No. Self-grace. She is also you. The girl who dreamed that maybe she could heal others the way that she'd been healed. She is also you. The girl who dragged her feet across the country one more time to pursue a better education, the way her mother crossed oceans to go to a new country and pursue a better life. She is also you, the girl who stood tall on 2 feet, applied herself, made connections, made best friends, fell in love, became the president, wrote a novel, began another one, played games, all while continuing to staunchly care for her mental well-being up to the very finish line. She is also you, the girl who trusted herself enough to go to the top of the mountain and receive. She is also you, the girl who descended that mountain with grace, peace, love, gratitude, and a compassionate vision of her past and present selves. She's also you, the girl who finally realized that yes, everything will be okay. She's also you, and the little girl sitting in the one-bedroom apartment by the window, losing herself in stories to feel less alone, mesmerized by dust motes floating in the sunlight. Look at her, look at them. They are all you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Janine. And now, let's bring up Laura Israel. Laura, are you here? Laura. I don't see Laura. She's gone. She was holding the signs earlier. And therefore, it's your turn, Ralph. Ralph Remington, come on up, please.
Thank you, everybody. I'm Ralph Remington. I just had a book launch at February 3rd at City Lights, Penetrating Whiteness. Books that save lives, Brenda Knight. You will all see her at the conference, so check her out. This is I Have a Nightmare. You heard of I Have a Dream? This is I Have a Nightmare. When I look at the times we are facing today, I can't help but believe that I am in a nightmare. It's a nightmare that appeared to be a dream at first glance, but rapidly vaporized into mist. I have a nightmare that black people will continue to be slaughtered in the streets by the boys in blue. I have a nightmare that I will never be good enough in some pale eyes to take a seat at the table in certain boardrooms in America. I have a nightmare that the prisons will continue to be overstocked with people who look like me. I have a nightmare that there will always be an excuse to keep me on the outside looking in. I have a nightmare that I fear the people who look like me as well as the boys in blue, because the people who look like me have been driven to insanity, imprisoned in depraved and horrid living conditions that aren't fit for human beings. I have a nightmare that my peoples were dragged out of their homes and land far away to serve someone else's dream while being unwilling participants in their own nightmare. I, Rastafari. What, did somebody call me a nigger? Jigaboo, spook, spear chucker, Sambo? I have a nightmare, I tell you. I can't wake up. I can't see. I can't even open my eyes. I have a nightmare that nobody gives a fuck. I have a nightmare that it's all about money, ain't a damn thing funny. I have a nightmare that I don't want to live anymore. I quit. I'm done. You don't love me? Well, I don't love me. Now that makes two of us. What the hell do you want? My body? There you go. My words? There you go. My thoughts? There you go. My music? There you go. My rhythms? There you go. There you go. There you go. I have a nightmare that I'll never be enough. I have a nightmare that they will always get away with it. I have a nightmare that I don't matter. I have a nightmare that I'm an outlaw, an intruder, a criminal. I have a nightmare that I woke up from in someone else's dream and that they trying to chase me back from where I came from. And I can't figure out where that is. Can you help me? No, don't shoot. I only want, no, I'm not gonna rob you, rape you, dominate you, brutalize you, change everything that you love about you. I ain't gonna do that because I have a nightmare that I can't breathe. I have a nightmare that I can't speak. I have a nightmare that I'm not good enough. I have a nightmare that I'm a fraud. I have a nightmare that I'm stupid. I have a nightmare that I'm ugly. I have a nightmare that I make everything worse. I have a nightmare, you hear me? A nightmare that I can't speak for myself. I have a nightmare that I can't call out racism when I see it, hear it, feel it, taste it, smell it. I have a nightmare that I will only make white people angry by calling out racism. And like the Hulk, you won't like them when they're angry. You think that you're in a nightmare now? Yeah, I'm in a freaking nightmare. I have to wake up. There's always a way to wake up. No, they ain't, bro. That's called death. That's why they call it awake. But you have a ways to go before you open that door. I have a nightmare, but I want to have a dream. Sorry, the dream shop's closed. We ain't trying to serve you today, boy. I have a nightmare. Can't you see I can't breathe? You best grab an inhaler before I tighten this noose around your neck. I have a nightmare that there's no way to make as much as a white man doing the same job. I have a nightmare that even though more whites get arrested, more blacks are in prison disproportionately than whites. I have a nightmare that there is literally no place to be somebody. I have a nightmare that I'm accused of being a racist by racists, and I'm accused of playing a victim by victimizers. I have a nightmare that there's a bounty on my head. I have a nightmare that I should be dead. I have a nightmare that slavery is back. I have a nightmare that slavery never left. I have a nightmare that exotic Negroes are traded like commodities. I have a nightmare that everyday Africans are treated like Americans are treated like niggas. I have a nightmare that me and my peoples all get Oscars because we sure enough deserve them for acting as if we're sane in conditions that have driven us out of our damn minds. I have a nightmare that while we're in corporate America, they say one thing in front of you and another thing behind your back. I have a nightmare that just in corporate America. I have a nightmare that I can't breathe. Did I say that already? Because And it don't seem as if nobody...
The next two are also my club mates, Eisen and Oliver, and Caitlin Holt, who came in earlier with amazing 2 poems, is also part of our club. This is my poem, Untitled Environment 4. 1, 1, 2 stars together, solar blue, a arm between them growing in reaches of 1, 1, 2, 3 eyes seen as 1. They gazing opened, focus on a stretch of light branching, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5 seabirds in the V. They flee to the beachhead where short grasses hope to be nesting and free. But up and along the pathways in the golden flowers, there is rust and wired patterned in 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 posts creating a boundary larger than the children can see. But they clapped their hands together under canvas whites and kept from fluttering free. Downward, below them, painted is the sea, where a garbage spill is flecking, oil rainbows deadening, entrapping. The sun-scarred parents watch the children, watching the water sink upward, counting aloud in their psyche, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13 shells of eggs broken, and if they are turtles or petrels waking, the children cannot tell nor see, for they are far past the perch of the cliff they can see from. But at night, when the ocean is full of all the stars, an Alpha Centauri with triplet pupils looks down through a veil of light pollution, the children can hear the caw cries and the wings beating and the golden flowers spiraling from evolutionary effect. So that when the dawn breaks and the children run to the beach's broken up fog, they see Prince. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Next up is Eisen. Come on up, Eisen.
Hi, my name is Eisen van Losbergen. In honor of Valentine's Day, this first poem is one I wrote for a friend of mine. I don't know why I was expecting to be better at this. All the love stories I've ever read, all the texts I've ever gotten from friends in the panic night, you'll just know. I don't just know anything. I question everything. I am a scientist. I know taxonomy, anatomy, the album, A vulgaire, E Californica. Maybe if my heart was something I could take out of my chest and examine, aorta, atrium, ventricle. Let me put this in ways I might be able to understand. When I put my forehead against your shoulder, my entire heart sings safe. My feet slop beside yours in lockstep on the sidewalk, and all I want in that moment is to make you laugh. Put-ups-wise, I love you to the point of poetry. To rhythm, meter, stanza. I love you enough to brave my own aching, fearful heart. I love you enough to try, after 2 years, to do this again right. And then this second poem. This second poem I wrote for myself. It's called How to Grow Up. Move across the country. Give up on your dreams. Pick new ones like roadside wildflowers. Change your name. Lie awake at night and mourn the loss of the version of yourself that was small enough to fit into the hearts of people who only really tolerated the idea of you. Burn bridges, build new ones, open your heart to sorrow, and find that joy roosted in the rafters while no one was watching.
Thank you, Eisen. Next up is Oliver Lynn. Come on up, Oliver.
Hello, this poem is called Coming Like a Storm, and I wrote it for my friend Isan. Your smile seizes my heart hardest if I view it through my tears. if I still get to love you, no matter how thick the clouds descending on us. Every day, silent pressure stifles our pain, but it only bleeds more under the bandage. Every day we're told happiness is hopelessness, a pebble in the face of an oncoming storm. But what greater beauty than the umbrella you raise to shield me from a tsunami wave? What more uplifting melody than one trying to drown an entire crowd's bigotry? Because sunlight is always prettiest after a rain, darkness hovering gray and foreboding in the background, raindrops not yet evaporated off the windows. A meme shocks a laugh to shatter our depression. A pun sneaks through hopeless frustration because nothing is ever straight sadness. The sky is never solid gray. Who knows, maybe there's a rainbow tucked among the clouds if we believe it into brightness, if we breathe it into our own bodies. It's the little things that launch that rainbow. The praise from a person I've so long respected, the welcoming wave from a stranger now friend, the grin on a face more familiar to me than my own. When I'm afraid to love myself, I know I can always love you. And maybe your love for me in return will be enough. Maybe it'll drift all the way to the other end of the rainbow, where I stand waiting for clouds to clear, and your message winged on all your infinite colors will open my heart to the sky. Free me to dance in the rain, unafraid of the tears pouring down around us. We won't choke on our fear this time. We'll embrace the salt as the spice of life. We'll hold each other in words and bless each other with laughs we carry to our beds at night, holding the deepest, darkest existentialism at bay, each with the memory that the other was once there, and still is, and always will be. We'll fight alongside each other in the morning, calling up breezes to blow the clouds away. But even if we never see sunshine, we'll still crystallize the raindrops into our diamond hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Oliver. Next up is Miriam Hafiz. Miriam, come on up, please.
I was really mad that they said Pluto wasn't a planet anymore, so I wrote a little story about it. For most of his life, Pluto knew exactly who he was. He was a planet. That was the word they used, and it fit. It gave shape to his place in the vastness. He orbited the sun faithfully, far out at the edge, cold but steady. He didn't need to shine like the inner planets. He belonged. Then one day, without ceremony, without even asking him, the word was taken away. Not a planet anymore, they said, casually, like correcting a label on a chart, as if identity were a measurement problem. Pluto waited for something to change, for gravity to loosen, for the sun to release him, for the universe to rearrange itself around this new truth. But nothing happened. He still woke to the same distant light, still traced the same long, quiet path. He still felt the same pull, and slowly a question formed. If nothing about my existence has changed, what exactly did they take from me? He turned inward, where no definitions reached. There he discovered something simple and unsettling. The word planet had never been holding him together. It didn't make him orbit, it hadn't given him mass, it hadn't kept him in relationship with the sun. It had only given others a way to talk about him. Pluto realized then that identity could be lost without anything real being lost, that labels move faster than truth, that belonging doesn't require consensus. He didn't need to argue his way back into the solar system. He didn't need to prove anything. He was still there, still moving, still himself. From that day on, Pluto stopped listening for permission. He let the universe call him whatever it wanted. He would keep doing what he always did: orbit, endure, exist, quietly but undeniably. And in that knowing, he felt something new. Not pride, not rebellion, just peace.
As undeniable as Plato, it was Miriam Hafiz. Thank you, Miriam. And now let's bring up Dominic Monti. Dominic, are you here? Come on up, please.
I don't need that, thank you. I recently completed the manuscript for a book of 100 sonnets. These are two. The idea for the first one came during a moment of self-reflection, so to speak. When facing up the man in mirrored glass and thinking of the joys and hurts I'd known, the surface muted image without mass might tip the scales against its living clown. At first, I think it's obvious to choose a life of joy instead of one bereft. For if I had that weightless life, I'd lose the density of love and pleasure's heft. But then I think the opposite might hold, for pleasure oft is overborne by pain. Reflecting on my scars, perhaps all told, that a feather's loss outweighs a stone of gain. In balance, though, that muted life is worse. Both love and pain produce these lines of verse. The idea for this one came from the Japanese art of kintsugi, which is repairing a broken vase by gluing the pieces back together with golden lacquer. And if you listen carefully, there's an allusion to a pretty famous nursery rhyme. A mended vase of shards is adhered with gold.
You help build robots and systems that assist humans in doing what humans cannot do alone. You engineer the future. I interpret through ancient Giz roots, through Ubuntu, I am because we are. Through the community wisdom I learned under my grandmother's feet. You search for precision, I search for meaning. And somehow between logic and proverb, between robots and anthropology, we solve most of our arguments. Not perfectly, but honestly. In our kitchen and in our life, we are healing ancestral wounds. In our children, we have planted love that is witnessed today, a love that will grow into the next generation. Almost done. Our beautiful American boys who will never know what it means to grow up planted outside this land the way you and I were. They are rooted here, safe here, confident here. And that, my love, is redemption. Your strength in silence, your patience when I am fire, your humility despite your achievements. I often wonder if that person who first said that felt what I felt. Because loving you has not made me smaller, it made me braver. We discover something sacred when words fall, when amore mio or yenik onjo loses its magic. The heart has its own language, a quiet one, a steady one only you and I speak. It brings us back, reminds us what matters. Say simply, choose us. In a divided world, we are two common people choosing unity, choosing humanity, choosing laughter, choosing healing. Two continents, one covenant. Happy Valentine's Day. Mia amor, afakahalo.
Thank you, Janine. Thanks for accepting the challenge. And now, here's a poet who has a project proposal due in her children's literature class by 11:59 tonight. Thank goodness I'm calling her name so she can rush back to her room and submit that proposal to her professor. It's Caitlin Holt. Caitlin, come on up, please.
I have two short poems for you today. The first one is about something that I saw, but unfortunately reminded me a lot about the struggle of my fellow college student at all times of the year. That is Arboretum flower. It's a surprisingly strange thing to see a sunflower drowning. I saw it in the Arboretum, in the creek by the bridge, just past the art building. Its yellow petals grasped at the surface tension, like little arms holding itself afloat. Brown head, brown eye, still searching for the sun. I wanted to help it, to pull it from the water, but that creek is murky. What if it had no stem? No leaves. What could I do to save that pretty little thing? If there's a stem beneath that murky surface, a smart person could graft it to a better flower. A kind person could pull it from the water, give it a vase, and keep it alive for a few more hours. But what happens then if it has no stem? That smart person might press it dry and preserve its beauty. That kind person could lay it on a plate and shower it with water. Yet what I find is the guilt I feel passing it by, because I am not ready to get in the water, and that sunflower is not mine. And to not end my little reading on kind of a sad note, I have an ode to my favorite sounds to say, an ode to sound. Askewed skulls scraping by, scarred girls summoning my, scared scalps scallywagged, stake shedding softly, slowly. Soon to be serene, this soft scene, so sit still, my sorrowful friend, stare past your sore strand. Rolling rasps of rarity rile my body's race towards ringing clarity. Running rabbits rake past written warnings, ranting, raving, the cat purrs. Tu no puedes correr, rata rojo. Woolly fools balloon, oozing doom, they too cocoon in cool, gloomy grooves and coo woozy tunes. Cook, shoe, where's my shoe? And they croon for boons, mooching goons. Countless cries careen down corridors, clacking, cracking. This case calls for cold, calculated care. My carved creations crave and carry back caved flicks of time careening carelessly. About face, absolute awe as acute appeals aim to ail all aged alms attained through reclaim. Adept avid adorations actively drive away any affirmation adaptations and push aside actual accountability.
Thank you, Caitlin. Ladies and gentlemen, good news. We are on page 3 of 4 of the open mic list. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you who have stuck around. When this poet appeared on my radio show, I don't know, a month or more ago, she explained to me very carefully how to pronounce her last name. But somehow I've only written the words Susan D here. Susan, come on up and read something for us. Susan, where are you?
There are lots of seats up front.
Good.
Hello, everybody. The first poem, excuse me, the first poem was written from a memory of the only semester I spent at a high school in Louisiana during the Civil Rights Movement. It's called Southern Cross. I remember you, lone black student, bus to West Monroe High, home of the mighty rebels where waved a red flag with 13 white stars on a blue cross. God meant for the races to be separate. I remember your face, stone calm, chin up. You broke forbidden ground, seeking this land's promise. We didn't see you break. The Russians paid Martin Luther King to stir up trouble. I remember Mr. Griggs and biology from old red texts, old ideas, the class tittering. Well, some evolve from apes, and one of them comes to this here school. I remember the Snickers surrounding you, alone, as always, at your long lunch table, when a high school quarterback hurled homogenized milk onto your quiet face. Mixing the races will make a racial jungle. I watched, silent as shifting sand, in wonder at the might that was you and the paralysis that was me. This other one is a little lighter. The candle speaks. You plucked me from a display, looked at my bottom, sniffed me the way a dog checks another. You read the label hoping it said soy, pero no soy. Soy wax, probably paraffin, a petroleum product. If you had known, would you have put me in your cart? Yeah,
My gestation lasted eons. But you still like me. But you like me, don't you? You like my shade, pale sage. You're fond of shady things. Dappled sunlight teasing through branches, waving their leafy fingers. I heard you sigh when you caught my scent, notes of vanilla. I'm stout and tall, for a candle, that is. I'll make a stately figure when you set me in that fancy glass dish. You like me. You really like me. You'll light my wick, watch my flame, take in the ambiance I create. Do you have a lover? When I burn, remember this. I'm not renewable.
Thank you, Susan. Next up is Jen Parker. Jen, come on up, please. I see a hand up.
Is there still time to get on the lift?
Yes, there is. Come see me backstage.
There's also lots of seats in the front if you're...
And there are seats up here. If you're wondering why am I sitting so far away from these excellent performers, then you should know that there are some tables up here.
Unfortunately, I can't see that.
Many of them have glasses on them, but still, if you don't mind detailing your own table, you'll be fine. Hi, Jen.
Hi. Sorry, I'm too blind for a phone, even with readers. Hi, my name is Jen Parker. This is an excerpt from an essay I wrote last year about a trip to the beach at Half Moon Bay, which, if you're not local, is just south of here, down the coast, called Blue Spaces. Over there is the land of the dinosaurs. My son motions to his left as we head towards the stairs to the beach. At the top of the stairs, a bench for sitting and thinking the sad thoughts you can only bring to the sea. At the bottom, we step unevenly over the footprints of beachgoers who've come before us. We look over to see my son is right. Brownish and porish cliffs loom attentively over the ocean, aquatic helicopter parents. Watercolor skies confuse the horizon line, the ocean and sky becoming one, the planet perhaps finally folding in on itself, giving up. The haze and patina make it look possible that a whole other epoch is just a ways down the beach. The Mesozoic sitting right beside the Holocene, fully visible, fully present, as if somewhere out in the water, lobe-finned fish swim with no idea that they're the start of something, that in millions and millions of years, their descendants will walk and talk and breathe air and have all the skills and tools necessary to their undoing. I think briefly that prehistoric times might feel very welcome right now. Before all this history we're drowning in, when at least the predators were obvious.
You heard me. I can't fucking breathe. I say it loud, I'm bragging, I'm proud. Who you kidding? I have a nightmare that we've forgotten our revolutionary origins. I have a nightmare that we've forgotten the Civil War. I have a nightmare that the blue coats didn't win. I have a nightmare that the blue coats became gray coats, became cops, became blue coats again, and we definitely didn't win. At least not my peoples. I have a nightmare that 1.5 million black men are missing, that 1 in every 6 black men ages 24 to 54 has disappeared from civic life. I'm here, I'm not missing, I'm counted. I have a nightmare I don't count. I have a nightmare that nobody gives a fuck. I have a nightmare that everybody thinks I've been in prison. I have a nightmare that my chances of getting a job as a black college grad with no criminal record are the same as a white male ex-con. I have a nightmare that my chances are worse. I have a nightmare that everybody thinks I have a knife, gun, weed, coke, crack. I have a nightmare that they want to see my ghetto pass. I have a nightmare that they want to see my gangster pass. I have a nightmare that I can't deliver. I have a nightmare that there's no point. I have a nightmare that I want the train to stop. I have a nightmare that I want to get off. I have a nightmare that is illegal. I have a nightmare that sex is uncivil and violence is civil. I have a nightmare that I can't reach it. I have a nightmare that it's the sweetest sugar. I have a nightmare that I have diabetes. I have a nightmare that I have AIDS. I have a nightmare that I'm shot down in the streets again and again and again. I have a nightmare that I deserve it for taking up space. I have a nightmare that I'm too angry, too loud, too soft, too nice, too mean, too black, too strong, too white, too mixed, too much. I have a nightmare that I woke up and I had the same nightmare all over again. I had a dream that I asked why. Thank you.
Ralph Remington. Ralph, what's the name of your new book?
What's that?
What's the name of your new book?
Penetrating Whiteness. How White Supremacy Built America.
All right, great, thank you.
Book of essays. Book of essays. And poetry.
All right, and now let's welcome up Sinclair Cabasel. Sinclair, come on up, please. Are you here, Sinclair? I don't see Sinclair. I met him in the elevator yesterday. He's not here. But I know Riley's here. Come on up, Riley. Come read us something.
Hey everybody. I just want to say that all of the poets who have come before me were incredible. Thank you for sharing your words. And I wanted to do a little callback to the beginning of this night when Vaani gave her incredible slam poem. A little applause for that. She and I actually published a book the week before last. It's called Call Me a Witch. It's now on Amazon, and I'm going to share a poem from it. So, this is called Poetry is My God. My jaw aches with words that don't exist. Is this how you felt when you disgorged the world from your open mouth? There are pages and pages pressed to my lips, and I'm trying not to swallow the ink, but my tongue and throat have been painted black. Would a prayer wring me clean? You would say so, or maybe you wouldn't. I've heard of you once or twice, a million times, and they've told me so many things about you that the writing has gone over itself so many times it looks like nothing more than blotted ink. Like ants crawling over the pages, swarming over their dead. Their rotting bodies line the edges of my esophagus. Their eyelash legs consume your face. Darling mine, I'd like to meet with you sometime untouched by the sun. I won't look if you open your mouth. I promise to listen. I promise to forget. I know some kiss your name into existence in smoke-stained air, and others close their eyes and trust you'll dog their steps, blameless, nameless, and others still tie the stones of their grief to your ankles and call you an angel. But you and I both know better than to speak of those. The closest I've come to an angel is the impression my shoulder blades left in the mud where the snow melted away. Please, are you there? I need to talk to you, God. I need to be understood, and I think you're the only one to do it. And even if I don't hold God dear, I think it would be lovely for someone else to do it and know us in our entirety, but perhaps even more beautiful for them to know us in increments crumpled in sweaty palms, taken apart in order to be held recklessly by all. To imagine each of my shards on their own adventures is enough for me. Is that how you feel? Are you listening? Here in the inexplicable, the unexplainable, the elusive, uncapturable, here is where I am. Meet me here same time tomorrow. I have to tell you, I pity you. Eternity must be a gruesome honor to endure. I'm sure I would not say this if I did know you. While the bonds of strangers are limitless, there are some truths we will never speak to our friends. Sincerely, a girl you probably don't know either.
Thank you, Riley. And next up, John Patterson. John, come on up and read something to us.
Excuse me. First of all, I want to thank Dr. Andy and the entire conference. I've really enjoyed volunteering. I've learned a lot from all the workshops, all the volunteers I've worked with, and just the conversations in the hallway. I found this to be a very rich experience. Thank you very much. The first one is not a slogan. Astronauts prepping for the Artemis mission around the moon with over 100,000 newly engineered and creative parts. That's rocket science, not a slogan. Researching and learning how to educate all of the different people in our country. That's like rocket science, not a slogan. Researching, developing viruses, and building mechanical and chemical protections against them. That's like rocket science, not a slogan. Understanding how the most advanced and complex economy in the history of the world works and trying to use it to help move the world forward. That's like rocket science, not a slogan. Directing the most advanced military in the world amongst the most problematic and historic problems of humanity. That's like rocket science, not a slogan. Leading the most powerful country in the world, where 40% of the population cannot gather $300 in 2 weeks, and yet aid developing humanity. That's like rocket science, not a slogan. This next one's called I See People. San Francisco's past, if not remembered, years, decades, events past, like fog kept out and shuttered. Not hard to see the streets if eyes open, and interest in what life meets, memories bake as in an oven. Many didn't want to see nothing but the beauty of the sea and the city next to it, being new a tiny bit by new tippy tips. Being old mostly, even with a history then, that had its side ghostly, when some remembered when. Seals, a baseball team did bat, fishing boats at Fisherman's Wharf did park, machine shops for a marine industry that was fat, packing plants had meat for restaurant diners and marts. Trains roiled into 2nd and Townsend, some cruise lines on the docks, but cargo ships mostly with hook-handling longshoremen, hooking bagged coffee, wearing white socks. From valleys, coastal and central, produce sweet, despite the hours traveled, lush, stacked high on clean swept concrete, between truck and ready buyers with green flush. Mornings with Herb King and Pages Green, and for some afternoons with Examiner, with fog and heavy dew, always parks green, changes every day since she began becoming posher. She grew from ferries to bridges, more and more dialects through the ages, the first spoken original tongue, then Spanish. In the early 1900s, some 17 different languages. Pogroms against the Chinese and Peruvians, earthquakes and fires unimaginable, crimes by those with collars and ruffians, labor fought for work manageable. Shrouded tales neath the white billowy space, if not written, a story witnessed, not remembered or not real, if told in grace, contains truth only known if harnessed.
Thank you, John. And next up is Christopher Caleb. Come on up, Christopher.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris. My clubmate, we were part of Aggie Fiction at UC Davis.
Its scars with polished artistry, rebuilt, enhanced to fit its former mold. This heals the wounds, though superficially. For defects surface in our own repair, when sutured from a deeply shattered state. Transformed by trauma, tragedy, despair, we must, from inside out, resuscitate. And when our falls are great and cracks severe, our inner kilns must fire a mighty flame. The hooves and thumbs of help might not appear to help us stoke our strength to self-reclaim. Loss, injury, and pain, do what you may. You break me, I'll reform my living clay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic. Next up is Damien, our Vizu. Come on up, Damien.
Okay, as I bring up my my poem, I just want to let you know that I'm hoping that my work will blend in well. It might just clash like the paisley to your very cool stripes, or it might be a nice little change of pace. What I've written is an epic poem, or in the style of the epic, like Homer and like Beowulf, trying to tell a fictional history of how a Lord Kindwolf took his throne. 'Twas scores since past, in times of wrath, when foul goblin might and kings in light, a shadow crept, O emerald glade, and horde of Chut, steel arrayed. From rib-lined mountains their numbers swarmed, with crooked blades and talons armed. They scorched the field and farmed and toiled straw, and brought despair on wolf and paw. But in the south, beyond dead God's vale stand, there dwelt a lord with sword in hand, Alfred Kindwolf, wolf's bane stung, whose wrath was feared, whose deeds were sung. To stem the tide of goblin might, he called his kin the bold and right. Colette, swift with bow and flame, a huntress forged in Elfwood's name. Leoric the stout with hammer wide, a dwarf whose fury none could bide. Benedict, priest of moonlit grace, who healed with song and starlit face. And Thurston, once a thief of shame, now bound by oath and not by blame. 5 hearts impact with steel and spell, they rode to where the darkness fell. Beneath the cliffs of rib-lined steep, they met the goblins intent to creep. The sky was black, the moon was red, and goblin drums beat war with dread. Alfred raised his blade, Goblin Reaver named. With goblin lightning bound and runes inflamed, he cried for flame, for dawn, for kin, and charged the horde with battle's din. Colette loosed searing cry, her arrows lightning up the sky. Leoric crushed skull and shattered shield, a mountainous rage upon the field. Benedict, with oaths of light, turned aside claw and bite, and Thurston danced with daggers swift, a blur of death, a shadow's gift. But from the rear there came a roar, a beast in iron, foul to core. Chut, Bloodaxe, chief of goblin race, with bone-crowned helm and rotted face. His axe was forged in iron and stone, it screamed with every strike and groan. He felled 3 knights with a single blow, the tide now turned, despair did grow. Yet Alfred stood firm, his lies aflame. He called the warlord by his name. Their blades did clash like thunder's cry beneath the rage of storm-racked sky. With one last prayer and fury's might, he plunged his sword to snuff Chut's light. The goblin lord let out a scream and vanished like a dying dream. So sing, O stars of sword and flame, of goblin doom and hero's fame. Let none forget the storm they braved, the world they fought, the world they saved. Thank you.
Thank you, Damien. Next up is Lily. I don't see Lily, so I'm not even going to embarrass her by calling her name. If she asks, tell her Lily's name never came up. But you know who is here? Thank you very much. It's Aaliyah Zamani. Come on up, Aaliyah.
Greetings to everyone still here. This poem is called The Poem Inspired by the Book of Delights. It's the little things, like sleeping in after 8 hours of uninterrupted slumber. It's 20 minutes into the workout when the adrenaline kicks in, riding the high and motion to the beat. It's walking alone on a nature trail surrounded by redwoods, not a person nor man-made structure in sight. It's the smell of grass and pine, damp soil and morning dew in communion with the Great Mother. It's moments of reflection and silence, allowing stillness to foster a deeper understanding of self. It's the first bite of smooth, rich vanilla cheesecake. Just about anything with cheddar, glazed donuts, and almond croissants. It's his morning kisses and warm embrace. The sound of my children's laughter, full-bodied, all three sprawled out on the floor, overcome with joy. It's dance parties that are gentle on my knees, walking in humility with my purpose. Anytime they come back and say, you know what? You were right. It's every witnessed rainbow, sunset, sunrise, and all their colorful glory. It's quiet moments in company of the holy and happy tears. It's every song with lyrics that speak to my spirit, every beat that forces my body to move. It's when the tiny hairs on the back of my neck stand on end while feeling seen and understood in community. It's the little things that remind me I am never alone. This journey does not end when breath becomes air. All I need do is take the next step into the delight of light with love.
That was delightful. Aaliyah, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And now let's see if Dr. Corey's in the house. Good job not clapping for an absent person. Let's go on to Mike Bernhardt. Mike's here. Come on, Mike.
No music. These are better. Thanks for still being here. So my book, Voices of the Grieving Heart, is 150 poems by 80 different people. They contributed to me, all from people who'd lost people that they loved. And so I'm going to read you two that had to do with my first wife's death. They're kind of bookends of my grief journey. So this one's called Sunday. Together we survived the terrifying night of CPR and defibrillation. Too many tubes and wires and doctors. My kisses on your forehead and your eyes kissing me back until your EKG exploded and they told me to leave. I sat outside in the hallway talking softly with you. In the morning, though your eyes seemed empty, I expected your recovery and went home to sleep, only to be greeted by a ringing phone and an urgent voice, and I was out again, stuck in traffic on the Bay Bridge, praying, screaming at God to get me to you in time. Hoping that curses and prayers might be enough, I inched and fought my way through traffic and despair, until finally free, nearly drowning, I plunged into the streets racing to San Francisco General. Sometimes now I like to imagine what I would have told the police if they'd noticed. I like to think that I wouldn't have pulled over. I would have just plummeted on at 70 miles an hour up Potrero Avenue, letting them catch up to me in the parking lot as I ran inside. My wife's dying, I would have screamed. But they didn't notice. I ran inside alone to find my friends crying and you dead. This one is sort of the other end of that journey. It's called Time Passes. Bright red dragonfly hovers by my face, slips off and returns again and again. Cat watches with vague interest from his shaded lair under the patio table. Yvonne tends the flowers, picks a zucchini and strawberries for dinner. Life continues now as if you had never been here, though I am here because of you. Your death connected me forever to what lies beyond this world. I felt that light inside me always. Rudderless, beguiled, I longed to join it. But time passes. Yvonne is smiling at me. We talk of dreams and having children. This garden is exploding with life, and I'm no longer in any hurry to leave.
Thank you very much. With those poems by Mike Bernhardt, we're now on page 4 of 4. How can there be an entire page left, Dr. Andy? Well, let's just find out. Next up, perhaps, is Christabel Choi. And after Christabel, Nisha. Come on up, Nisha, please.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, to those left. My name is Nisha. I'm an educator and I'm a poet. I'm about to publish my first poetry collection in April, and I'll be reading a few poems from there. It's a poetry collection inspired by my synesthesia and tells the story of a toxic relationship. And it's in 3 parts, so I'll read a poem from each part. White parentheses board. I'm an empty space on which you can flood your thoughts, whether you write in cursive or in print, your wildest dreams, your deepest fears, your bold ideas, or what your heart holds near. I'll always be here to receive you. The second one, red parentheses bloodshed. I stitched my gaping wound that you left with a thread so thick, scissors consider it an arch nemesis. I watch as the frayed fibers of my skin fuse together after spending years of being brutally carved apart. Through the pain, I inhale the lies you fed to me and exhale closure. And yet somehow you unravel my hard work with a single pull that is painless and effortless. Willingly, I'll crawl back to you while internally begging for relief, knowing that I have to start healing all over again. And the last one, it's called blue parentheses print. I'm an architect who designs perfect versions of myself. They'd call me a marvel, and you'd sport a smile carved by world-class carpenters as you tore up my plans, the versions of me I worked so hard to map out for you. But even though you ruined my blueprints, you could never take my tools. Compass, protractor, and confidence in hand, I began another sketch of a life I'll lead for myself and myself only. Thank you.
Thank you, Nisha. Next up is Bob House. Come on up, Bob.
Okay, good evening. Thanks for staying this late. This is from my first novel, my first book, Diminished Resolve in the Major. In 1989, a young pianist is just starting his senior year at the Cincinnati Conservatory. The sounds of several different instruments, violins, French horns, oboes, and pianos, filtered into the hallway. It was one of many hallways in Mary Emery Hall, the home of the University of Cincinnati Conservatory of Music. This particular hallway held nothing but practice rooms, each one bleak and featureless, each one occupied by a student musician hard at work. Although the practice rooms came equipped with some measure of soundproofing, the pianist still clearly heard each individual instrument as he walked down the hallway. The sounds annoyed him as he was trying to find a vacant room, one far away from those occupied, one that would let him practice in relative peace. Then he heard it. Ravel's Sonatine, the first movement, coming from one of the rooms. Even with the noise of the other rooms interfering, he stopped in his tracks and listened. He knew the piece, but this performance was unlike anything he'd heard. The notes sounded smoky and cloudy. Not a single note sounded solid or hard-edged. That's it, he thought. I've always known this is what that piece should sound like, but this is the closest anyone has ever come to that sound. The first movement ended. He waited a moment, then knocked on the door. What? An annoyed female voice answered. He opened the door and found a woman with shoulder-length red hair and green eyes. She sat at the keyboard of a Steinway upright. I'm sorry to bother you, he stammered, but I just wanted to tell you, I've been listening to you play sonatine, and my God, you're brilliant. Thank you, she replied, with a note of impatience in her voice. Well, sorry to bother you, he repeated, then half bowed as he closed the door. Well, that was stupid, he thought. You win the award for the uncoolest guy on campus. He retreated to the first open practice room he could find, one that was as far away from the red-haired woman's room as possible. He closed the door and sullenly ran through his warm-up routine, scales and the Hanon. Once finished, he decided to work on Debussy's Sarabande, the second movement of Suite pour le piano. The Sarabande was one of those pieces that wasn't difficult to play, but it was extremely difficult to play well. The slower movement between two up-tempo movements, a change of pace movement, it demanded a great deal of nuance. Too many pianists simply played the notes with no feeling whatsoever. Too many others went to the opposite extreme and wound up sounding overwrought and ridiculous. I'll play the whole piece through once, all the way through, concentrate on the forest, then work on the individual trees. He finished the piece, paused for a couple moments, then heard a light knock on the door. Come in. The door opened and the red-haired woman ducked her head inside. Am I interrupting? No, he answered. Please come in. Thanks. I just wanted to say I'm sorry if I was abrupt with you. He met her gaze. Her eyes looked like green crystals. It's quite all right, he answered as smoothly as he could. I shouldn't have bothered you. You didn't, she said. I appreciate what you said. I've been listening to you too. I love what you did with the Sarabande. Thanks, he answered, and was surprised to find his pulse racing. Are you new here? Yes, first-year grad student. I did my undergrad at John Carroll in Cleveland. How about you? Senior year. Are you a TA? No, just a grad student. Well, guess we'd better get back to work. Guess so. As she started to back up and close the door, he said, one thing. When you're done, okay if I walk you home? She paused, then said, I'd like that. He noticed a gap between her two front teeth and found it quite appealing. She wore no makeup, and yet her green eyes glowed more intensely with each passing moment.
Thank you, Bob. I'm looking for Isaiah and not seeing him. I'm looking for Eric. Are you here, Eric? No, Eric has left. Rahul? Thanks everyone for not telling me that you ran out on us. Jamie is not here. How about Eva? How about Shayna? Are these all fake names? How about Jyoti? Ari, you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ari Valquez. Come on up, Ari.
You know, I thought there'd be more folks. Perhaps I should have grabbed things out of my pocket a little sooner.
That's all right. I can help you stall if you
Do a little tap dance.
Yeah. Watch your step.
All right. You know, look at y'all, you're still here. No one can say you don't got stamina. I got two things. All right. There is something, and it skitters beneath the floorboards. And when I pull a board back, in a bright, piercing light, with its needle-like rays, like that of a star, I see your face flash from all different moments and memories in a rapid succession inside the core of it. And just as quickly as it has blinded me, it is beneath the baseboards again, and the skittering continues, and it resumes, and I am still there, knelt over a hole in the floor, hands quietly braced, retinas still with a neon imprint of what isn't there anymore. All right, now we got this one. I reach my hand for you through it all. Fingers creak and stretch and bloom outwards towards you. It all breaks outwards, and the walls break out into a unique shade of green, and then so very many shades of green. You are a cacophony of green to me. It's my favorite color. I love green. I reach for you. You are so far away. You are so close. You aren't here at all. You pop in when you could be anywhere at all. I feel you. Though in likelihood, I don't. I just feel me, and me alone. I am overcome at times, though not the way I used to. Not like I used to. I feel something stronger than I used to. There is something here. There is someone here, and I love them.
Thank you, Ari. Next up is Rose. Come on up to the microphone, Rose.
You get to see my kids. Wow.
This is for my mom. It's Valentine's Day, and I miss her very much. La Paloma, the dove. She perched on the edge of a branch on a tawny old oak tree. The world flew by on the wings of time, scared, timid, trembling. She dare not take flight, for she had forgotten how. Days turned to nights, summers turned to fall, winters turned to spring, years turned to decades. Eyes watching, heart beating. Life went on. The lonely branch was safe. Her window to life beyond. She couldn't remember when wanting his love made her disappear. A mere shadow of herself, his shadow. Their home, her gilded cage. Never has she wanted to leap before, for spousal vows were sacred. Yet she knew there was more to life, to living. Far more than this place she called home. Yet, on the edge of the branch, a tawny oak branch, she stayed. It was a safe place. Perhaps the wrong place. The others, once her kindred spirits, called to her as they fluttered by. She smiled and waved, acted like her life was good enough. Once she was one of them, but so long ago her memories faded. Almost none remained of her, the one she used to be. His kind of love had broken her. Life had changed her. Through the tears, she knew her spirit was dying. No, it was dead. Then one day, she dared to leap. She flew to the stars to make herself and find herself once again.
Thank you, Rose. I think we have 3 performers left. Next up, Salvatore Barone. Come on up, Salvatore. As Salvatore comes up, I'm going to say that Lissa Provost, who's our next performer, said that he could have a little bit more time than the rest of us. And let me just help you with that.
Okay, thank you. No music. Yeah, no music. I think that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I wrote this story about my relationship with my grandfather and analyzing it against the culture of masculinity in the United States during his upbringing and mine. So, there we go. This is Dying in Detroit. The first trick I mastered in my life was the art of escape. I was Houdini. I inherited this magic from my grandpa Fritz, who ran away from his Detroit orphanage to find the father that escaped him. When I was 3, I abracadabra, snuck out of daycare on a stolen big wheel and rode it home. When I was 9, instead of writing essays, I'd open sesame, flee my physical form, and manifest in a wrestling ring, becoming world champion. At 17, I dropped out of school and acted out more. And when authorities tried to handcuff Houdini underwater, I disappeared. Not into thin air. Into heroin. And, you know, America loves magic. And heroin is dark magic, a potion to abscond from reality. That allowed me to escape everything by the age of 20, but myself. I was homeless, hungry, always withdrawing. And at this point, I kind of wanted a hug. So I pulled up my bootstraps and walked to my parents' house. And standing in front of the home I grew up in as an outsider felt foreign. Knowing if I just burst through that door and snatched a Pop-Tart, it would be a home invasion. I softly knocked in hopes of not being heard, but my mom answered. And like any good parent fighting the urge of codependency, she said, "No, we can't help you anymore, Salvatore. But we know who can. Your Grandpa Fritz in Detroit." Detroit. Well, Houdini was from Budapest, but he died in Detroit in 1926, a ruptured appendix. He said he was man enough to take any punch as long as he had time to prepare. And I wasn't prepared for my grandpa's house. Fritz cut straight through bullshit. When I was a kid visiting once, we were wrestling, and I hit him with the low blow, and he chased me down and squeezed my balls and said, "Do you see how that feels? Only sissies hit men in the nuts." His love was harsh, crafted from a lifetime of escaping. And within a few weeks of being there, with withdrawals subsiding, I began to feel again. And that compulsion to just free myself from reality grew, so I pulled up my bootstraps and I stole my grandpa's car. And I drove that big wheel to the closest pharmacy. The alarm was blaring, wee wee, and I was bagging narcotics when flashing red, white, and blue lights stole my attention. Front door, cops. Side exit, cops. So I didn't know what to do. I ran to the emergency exit and opened sesame. A cop with his gun raised screamed, "Freeze or I'll blow your fucking head off!" But my brain was telling me I could catch bullets with my teeth. So I ran, diving over bushes, leaping over fences, exhausted. I got to the car. And at the first intersection, lights were approaching. And it was my grandpa. He just put his hand out like this and screamed, "Stop!" And I waited to be taken to jail. An inescapable reality for 9% of American men, with 85% having substance use disorder. And I thought it was just for fuck-ups. I was sentenced to 6 years. And a few weeks in, my hands and feet were shackled together, and I was brought to a small cinder block room with my grandpa sitting inside. He just stared at me through his eyebrows and said, "How'd you sneak out of the house without tripping the alarm? How many times have you done this? Why?" And I didn't know how to respond. And he got up to leave. And he said, "You murdered this side of the family, and no one wants you here anymore." And with a year left in my sentence, I received the news that my grandpa had stage 4 colon cancer. A cancer that could have been treated if it wasn't for him denying a colonoscopy, because no man will ever stick a finger up my ass. I hadn't even talked to him since that visit, because he saw through my tricks. I wanted to call him and say, "I'm sorry, Grandpa. Thank you for trying to help me." And instead, I wrote him a letter and a poem. And a few weeks after sending that letter, my grandpa Fritz died. For weeks, I hid in my cell so no one would see me cry. And a year later, I was released on parole. And my mom let me back in the house. And we were talking about my grandpa's last days. And the letter I sent him, he stuck it unopened in his nightstand for weeks. And through tears, he admitted he feared what I would say. But he loved the letter. And he read the poem to anyone that would listen. I just wish I was man enough to have shared it with him. But that's the risk we take as escape artists. Thank you.
Thank you, Salvatore Baroni. We have 2 performers left. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, the director of the San Francisco Writers Conference. It's Lissa Provost. Come on up, Lissa.
conference about back when we started, and we started the poetry and jazz event with about this many people in the room. But I love you guys because you're the ones who stay. I'm going to read a poem in this book that I'm going to revise a little bit. And my kid didn't stay around to hear it, but we're recording, so. Can you play me some disaster music?
Disaster music?
Disaster movie music, yes. This was one of the first poems I read back then. And it has had to be revised a few times. We're going to read it a little different than it's published. Superstorm Eddie. Eddie is a whirlwind. He'll blow you clean away. Eddie is a hurricane that floods the tub today. Eddie is an earthquake, 8 points. He'll shake you to your core. Eddie sends a tidal wave across the kitchen floor. Eddie, great volcano god, erupting constantly. Eddie moves like lava flows, steadily straight to the sea. Eddie zips like lightning bolts. You can't capture the flash. Eddie rolls like thunder does. And did you hear something crash? Yes, Eddie strikes like lightning, never in the same place twice. Then smiles like the sunshine and you think he's awful nice. In case you weren't aware, Eddie was the 2-year-old and is now the 19-year-old following me around helping me at this conference, so it's been a while. And second, for Valentine's Day, what a hand weighs. What does a hand weigh? Not much, surely. Yet the pressure of your palm in sleep is the burden of possession, an imprint seared on living skin, a fastening between souls through which, a channel of flesh through which may flow passion words cannot express, truths too intimate for eyes, unconscious touch, leave your hand forever on my side.
Hilarious. That's so good. Thank you, Lissa. That was very nice. And thank you for continuing to make so much room for poetry at the San Francisco Writers Conference. I'll finish with a Valentine. I finished this poem yesterday and presented it at a fancy restaurant just about 5 blocks from here to my wife Kate, who has been joining me at this conference. Is she asleep right now? Yes, she is. She's full on asleep, maybe for about 2 hours yet. This is called Sleepy Valentine. I wait until your breathing settles into a slow metronome of sleep before I reach for the pen that writes you this love poem. The room has already become our small enclave of night. Curtains drawn, lamps dark, the sound machine has begun its whisper. The day's last warmth still reaches me as I see the thin geometry of cul-de-sac streetlight tracing the stucco of our ceiling, a pale bookmark tentatively keeping our place. Your bare shoulders crumple cotton sheets amid the extra zebra blanket you insist upon even when the house is warm. I measure the night by the rise and fall of you. Your legs, long as run-on sentences, have found their nightly companion, your second pillow, clasped for balance, for comfort, for reasons the body understands. Your mouth's soft parentheses, sealed for sleep, keep their mysteries. I reflect on your daytime eloquence, your laughter and quiet kindnesses. If your expansive brown doe eyes were open, they would gather and spend every available photon in this room, but now they rest, kept safe in the darkness. Like you, I prefer your side of the bed, the lavender braided with peppermint, like a garden remembering morning, even while standing in shadow. Imperceptibly, gently, I move toward your breathing, now close enough to sense your love letter written in fragrance. The house also leans, the wood and pipe making small confessions as my sleepless love inventories your breaths. Dear heart, gentle sleeper, know my sentinel palms have crossed the unlit hours to keep watch beside you. Thank you. Thanks to all 9 of you for making it to the end of Poetry and Jazz. Let's give it up for Jay, who's still here. Thank you so much, Jay. And I hope to see all of you tomorrow at breakfast. I've written an occasional poem in which I sum up some of the themes, some of the topics, some of the joys and challenges of participating in this conference. It happens at breakfast in the big ballroom. Otherwise, find me at Poetry in Davis, especially if you'd like to come be a part of the Poetry Night Reading Series at the John Atzoulis Gallery twice a month in Davis, California. My name is Dr. Andy. I'll see you next year for more Jazz and Poetry as part of the San Francisco Writers' Conference. Good night, everyone.